Welcome back to my channel. If you have already made the big decision of moving to Australia, here comes the next question. How good is your English? As you are already watching this video, you can probably understand English, obviously. But are your English skills proficient enough to get you enough points for migration? That's a big question mark. As promised in one of my previous videos, I am going to show you the comprehensive comparison of the 5 English tests that are accepted by the Australian government and also give you some tips on how to make the right choice to maximize your English level points for Australian migration. To find out more videos like this, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you can be updated with the latest video. Let's start with a quick overview of these 5 tests. All these tests allow multiple attempts every single year and are available in multiple countries all around the world. OET seems to have limited testing sessions, but do keep in mind that it's designed for medical industry professionals only, and the test contents are also industrial knowledge related. In terms of format, most of the tests are paper-based for listening, reading, and writing, even though IELTS, TOEFL, and CAE have computer-based options in some locations. For PTE, however, all the testing components, including speaking tests, are conducted by computer, and I will explain it in more details later. As for the cost, all these tests cost $300 to $400 Australian dollars except for OET, but again, OET is industry specific, so it won't be applicable for the majority of people. The result of tests generally takes 2 to 3 weeks to be delivered except for PTE, which takes less than 1 week since it's all assessed by computer. Next, let's have a detailed comparison on each of the test content. First, let's look at the listening test. The way the listening tests are conducted are pretty much similar to each other. The length of the tests are 30 minutes to 1 hour in most cases, and the formats are all about listening to conversations, speeches, and monologues, and answer questions according to the content. The content are mostly from daily life except for OET, in which the conversations are healthcare industry related. The tasks to be completed are mostly multiple choices, while IELTS, PTE, and CAE include get fail and sentence completion, for which the spelling is also part of the evaluation. PTE in particular have the most dynamic task types and therefore might require more efforts to prepare for. The assessment of all tests are based on the number of correct answers, which is quite direct and objective enough to give a fair result. Now let's move on to readings. The reading part generally takes more than 1 hour except for PTE, which only takes around 40 minutes to complete. And the format are all about reading passages, paragraph, and with general content, except for OET. The task includes multiple choices, sentence completion, short answer, and multiple matching. The assessments are all purely based on the number of correct answers. When it comes to reading preparation, one important factor is about your vocabulary skills, which means how many English words you are able to understand. And according to the analysis from different resources, here is the overview of the vocabulary requirements for functional English level. The vocabulary requirements for IELTS is 6,000 to 7,000 English words. For TOEFL, it's 7,000 to 8,000 English words. For PTE, it's 6,500 to 7,500. And for CAE, it's 7,000 to 8,000. While for OET, the requirements are healthcare professional specific, therefore it won't be comparable to the rest of the tests. And do take note that these requirements is only for functional English level, therefore if you want to achieve professional or superior English, you will need to be able to understand at least few more thousand words compared to this level. As you can see, it appears that IELTS has the minimum vocabulary requirements while TOEFL and CAE are relatively more challenging. So if you are taking these 2 tests, you might need to spend more time to learn more English words to understand. Now we can move on to writing and speaking. To many people, writing is the most challenging part to achieve a high score. When comparing the 5 tests, we can easily see that except for OET, which is about healthcare professional letter writing only, all the other tests have 2 writing tasks. At least one writing task will be topic discussion or opinion sharing. The other task is usually shorter and is usually about summarizing or describing a given target subject. So there is not much difference content-wise. However, in terms of testing time, PTE and CAE allow you to spend significantly longer time to complete the task, which gives you more bandwidth to structure your opinion, check your grammar, and so on. The most important thing to notice here is the assessment approach. As you can see, PTE is the only test that uses computer assessment to score your results, even though it's still hard to tell what exact criteria was implemented by the computer for the auto-assessment process. One thing for certain is that besides the usual spelling and grammar check, it will not involve any human factor or subjective judgment, which means that when taking PTE, your writing will be most unlikely to get biased assessment compared to other tests. In fact, according to the experience of many people who have taken both PTE and IELTS, they can usually achieve better results in PTE writing than IELTS writing, especially when they are trying to achieve professional or superior level of English. Lastly, we come to speaking. When we look at the time, TOEFL and CAE takes longer than the others, which might require more energy for speaking. The speaking test time for PTE is actually very short because it's combined with writing in one session. In terms of format, as mentioned in one of my previous videos, many people could get nervous when talking to a real person during the test, so if they choose PTE or TOEFL, their score will be unlikely impacted by the emotional factor. And of course, PTE has a more dynamic task type to be completed comparing to the other tests, which might need more time and energy to prepare for. But things like repeating sentence or answering short questions will be surely easier to prepare for comparing to a few minutes of monologue that are typically included in other tests. And again, PTE is the only test that uses computer assessment for performance, which means that things like your look, your gesture, and your accent will have minimal impact on your score. And this is also very important for some people who are targeting to achieve a result of professional English and above. So in summary, here are the tips of choosing the most suitable test for you. Firstly, based on the complexity of the test format, if you have limited time for preparation and only want to achieve a functional English level, then choose IELTS or TOEFL. However, if you have already spent some time to pass the functional level and targeting to achieve professional or superior level of English, then give PTE a try. Secondly, it is understandable that for most people, they usually have strengths on some particular components while feeling challenging to get good results on the other components. So it is important to choose the test based on your confidence level about each of these four components. And here are my suggestions. If reading is your biggest disadvantage, then choose IELTS. If writing is the most challenging part comparing to the rest, then choose PTE. If you feel more comfortable speaking to a microphone rather than personal interaction, choose PTE or TOEFL. However, if you like to have conversation with real people, choose IELTS or CAE. And of course, if you are a medical professional, choose OET, which is designed for your industry in particular. Lastly, let me share about my own experience. During my application for Australian PR, I tried IELTS for multiple times, and the best result I got was professional level English with writing as my biggest disadvantage, which was always one level lower compared to the rest of the components. No matter how hard I tried in IELTS, the maximum writing score I got was only 7.5. Then I decided to try taking PTE instead of IELTS. After some preparation, I managed to get superior English results on the first attempt, which eventually helped me to get enough points for Australian PR application. So, if you are also planning to move to Australia and struggling on your English test, hope this video could give you some useful information and help you to optimize your English test results. And if you like what I shared, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. All the best! Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos about moving to Australia. See you in my next video.